Well, hello. My name's Adrian Gilbert and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. Now, in case you're new and you haven't been here before, I'm mostly known as an author of alternative history, forgotten history, ancient mysteries, searching into various aspects of the esoteric, as you would call it. So, for example, this book here, The Orion Mystery, which I co-authored with Robert Bauval, revealing that the pyramids of Giza were intended to be representations of the stars of Orion's belt. Now you might think that's a pretty far-fetched idea. It's actually one that my co-author came up with and did a lot of research into ancient Egyptian records, and I think you'd find this a very interesting book. Signs in the Sky, which is my own work, which was going into the connections between particularly the chapter 24 in the Matthew Gospel, the signs that we're told to look out for the end of the age, and comparing those with today and what's happening. And I saw this, I had this picture made for me which represents the opening of the Stargate, which was a celestial event that took place in the year 2000, and I believe that that was the start of the apocalypse, as we would call it, and now we're well into that. And I've also published other books, for example about the subtle body in the Christian tradition, what you might call the astral body, which in Christianity is referred to as the body of light. And that's a very important theme and topic. The gnosis in Christianity, the ancient wisdom, which has been, we're never taught these things in church. We're not taught these by so-called ministers. They don't know the esoteric truths. Architecture, mysticism and myth, the symbolism contained within churches and cathedrals, and my favourite book, the Hermetica, which is the writings of Hermes Trismegistus, so-called, which very much influenced the development of the Renaissance, particularly in Italy. And our modern world is very much a consequence of that book. But that's not what I want to talk to you about today. We're going to look at a much more scientific mystery, one which you may have seen somewhere before, but it concerns this little globe. I don't know if you can see it here clearly. It is a globe, just like the sort of globe you would have in the school or wherever, where there's a representation of the world with all the different continents on it. And it's got a magnet in the top of it, and you can hang it from this little support. But that's not what's of interest here. Try as I may, I can't get this just to hang there from that magnet. The magnet is pulling upwards, gravity is pulling downwards, and I've tried this over and over and I can't just get that to hang up there unless I plug it in. Right, you can see it's plugged in, this little light comes on. It's still a bit tricky, but if you're very, very careful in what you're doing, very, very careful, you have to put it just right and let go. You can see there that it hangs there suspended in the air, and if I just blow on it very, very gently, we have a rotating globe. You can see the continents going round and round on the globe. And that I find absolutely amazing. And I don't know what goes on inside here, but it's certainly something to do with electricity, magnetism. But you can take a card and put it in between. Still floats. Doesn't make any difference what you do there. I find this very fascinating, but there's more to it than that. And I want you to see this. Now here you can see a close-up of the little ball floating in space with the continents turning round and round. There goes Africa, South America, North America, Pacific Ocean, Australia, Asia, you can see China there, Arabia, and back to Africa, Europe above it. Fascinating. And notice that, I'm not fiddling this. This is not some kind of trick using a computer program. It's nothing to do with that. There's no green screens here. There's nothing peculiar. I showed you before how I suspended that little ball hanging from the device with just air in between it. I mean, this is actually an anti-gravity machine, because gravity is pulling down on that ball like it pulls down on everything else. But it's being stopped by a force that's pulling upwards, which I presume is magnetism. And the electric force is 10 to the 38 times as powerful as the gravitational force. So even quite a small magnet inside that device is more powerful at pulling that globe, or it balances out the pull of the entire planet, which is trying to pull that globe downwards towards the centre of the Earth. And as you know, everything's being pulled downwards here, accelerating at 32 feet per second is the acceleration rate of something you drop on Earth. I don't know what that would be in decimal. When I went to school, we were still doing everything in terms of feet and inches and so on. Now, I want you to notice something else here, that the Earth has slowed down and stopped, but now suddenly it starts going back the other way. I mean, this is uncanny. We suddenly got Australia is going backwards. We're into the Pacific Ocean again. And the Americas are looming up. North America and South America. And it's speeding up now. Notice it's noticeably going faster. And we got the Atlantic Ocean there. We got Africa, we got Arabia, and then we got Asia, and it slowed down again. It slowed right down, just as we're getting back to China there and Australia just coming over the horizon. And it started going the other way. And we're accelerating back the forwards direction that it was going in before. Now, I don't know about you, but I find this weird. And notice how close Africa is to South America. Much closer than Europe is to North America. I believe that people were crossing over to the Americas from Africa thousands of years ago. And you might remember the, what was it, the Ra expedition that Thor Heyerdahl did? And they sailed from Africa and ended up in the West Indies on a raft made of reeds. Extraordinary. But he proved it could be done. Anyway, we got the going back the other way again. It's reversed again. And we're coming backwards through the Americas. You can see there, that bit of Africa there is really quite close to Brazil. There's not that much distance. If you're an intrepid mariner like a Phoenician or a Carthaginian or perhaps even a Roman, you could have made that voyage. And then it starts going forwards again. And notice how Africa's, all that Sahara Desert, all white there, and Arabia. And also Europe is right up there on top of the globe. You can't hardly see it. Just shows how far north we are. We don't think of that so much. And it's going forwards again. And so it's not going quite as far as it was. I think it's slowing down. Australia's just there, but not fully in the middle yet. And it's going backwards again. It's oscillating like a swing. This is what's called simple harmonic motion, but I can't see what would be causing this. Why would it alternate like that and swing? There's no reason for it. Not that I can see. Not when it was going along quite happily before. I don't see why it's doing this. It's peculiar. And it's the big mystery, and that's the mystery I want us to look at. And if anyone's got any ideas, well, think about it. Now, I hope you enjoyed that little demonstration, which shows, I think, something quite amazing. That this idea that this little ball, this globe, which I can understand it rotating and then stopping, but why should it rotate backwards and then go forwards again, and then backwards again, and then forwards again? This oscillation at the end of its spin cycle, what is causing that? You could understand if it was suspended on elastic and the elastic was winding up one way and then unwinding the other way, or something like that. But what's causing it to do that? It might be something as peculiar as the fact that the Earth itself is rotating. I don't know. So if you've got any ideas on this, perhaps you're a scientist who deals with electromagnetism and you know all about these things and how this little thing works, I'd love to hear from you, and I'll publish your comments for everybody to see. But I find this a fascinating object, and just watching it going round and round, hanging there as though it's in orbit, is just wonderful. So thank you very much. If you enjoyed this lecture, which has been quite a short one, please have a look at the other ones on my channel. There's a whole series I've put up there recently on the Book of Revelation. I think we've done 10 lectures up to the opening of the full opening 7 seals. There's more to be done yet, and I will do those in due course. And there's other lectures there as well that I think you will find interesting. So please, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe, and press the little bell icon. I know everyone tells you that, but it really would help. I think we're getting up towards 500 people now on the channel. I'd like to get to 1,000 and see where we go from there. So thank you very much.